Over recent months, WWE founder and CEO Vince McMahon has been forced to step down due to financial irregularities. The company's board decided it was time for a change, and it was out with the old and in with the new in the form of McMahon's son-in-law, Paul Levesque, aka Triple H. Today we are discussing all the fallout and what wrestlers have been saying in response. Stay with us. First up, what exactly happened? Let's discuss. Earlier this summer, it was revealed that Vince McMahon and other key executives were being investigated by the WWE's board of directors after alleged hush money payments made by the former CEO. The accusations stem from an illicit relationship McMahon is thought to have been involved in. He allegedly paid a WWE employee off in a bid to buy her silence. The report suggests that 76-year-old McMahon was playing away with a woman almost half his age, a 41-year-old paralegal in the employ of the company. Shortly after the affair began, it is alleged that the employee was given a $100,000 pay raise. It is thought McMahon later handed her off to John Laurinaitis in a bid to have him take the fall. And there have been plenty more allegations of sexual misconduct and financial wrongdoing. When the story first emerged, it was thought the WWE's board were investigating missing monies to the tune of $14 million. But earlier this month, it was revealed that that figure was now closer to $20 million. There have also been other women who have now come forward to complain about the WWE's toxic practices. And with the SEC now thought to be involved, this McMahon-inspired mess could be set to rumble on for much longer. What did you guys make of this story when it first broke? Pretty crazy, right? So what has been the reaction from pro wrestlers? Stick around to find out. Of course, McMahon's forced retirement has been the talk of the entire summer, and whilst some pro wrestlers have suggested they aren't surprised, others had their former employers back. The Nature Boy, Ric Flair, tweeted at McMahon, "You've made my life better every day since I've been in the wrestling business. You're the only promoter in my career that treated me like a man, respected who I was, and made me a better person. God bless you for all you've done. FYI, no one can follow your act." And Kurt Angle echoed Flair's sentiments by thanking McMahon for believing in him and providing him with the opportunity to flourish. He went on to profess his love for McMahon, tagging Stone Cold and telling him that, "P.S. I'm still Vince's favorite." John Bradshaw Layfield, aka JBL, also thanked his old boss, claiming he had changed the entertainment industry and how we, the public, view it, also referencing McMahon's charity work at the same time. And one of the WWE's biggest stars over the past 3 decades, Mick Foley, also paid tribute to the founder, saying, "Thank you for everything, Vince. You changed my life." Britain's former WWE star William Regal also revealed how he believed he couldn't have done what he did in the game without McMahon's help, tweeting, "Thank you very much, boss. 21 years of a great job traveling the world, and without your help, I wouldn't have lived to see a second of it." What have you made of the reactions? Were there any other reactions? Oh yes, and most of them were actually positive. You guys can draw your own conclusions about what that might say about the organization. Titus O'Neil thanked McMahon via Twitter, whilst female wrestler Dana Brooke expressed her appreciation for McMahon's guidance and support, tweeting, "Nothing but appreciation and respect. You have always believed in me and have seen my vision. I appreciate our conversations and words of wisdom. You will be missed." Zack Ryder also got in on the action by thanking the former head, whilst Gerald Briscoe, former wrestler and longtime McMahon collaborator, derided the jabronis who celebrated the retirement of the man who created a world that gave you so much enjoyment growing up. Maybe he doesn't take sexual and financial misconduct seriously, but the rest of the world does. Matt Cardona encouraged Vince to enjoy his retirement, whilst the former general manager of Raw, Eric Bischoff, tweeted, "Love competing against you, and will always respect the business you built." Kevin Nash also thanked the former head and echoed many of his peers' sentiments by explaining that McMahon believed in him and gave him the opportunity of a lifetime, something which he believes would not have made him the man he is today. It seems the WWE roster and former professionals are a loyal bunch, which on one hand is quite noble, but on the other hand seems to normalize McMahon's behavior, which at best is short-sighted, but at worst, almost apologetic. What do you make of all this? It can't have all been positive, can it? Stay tuned. Well, no, not really. Former WWE star and one-time UFC fighter CM Punk went in on his former boss, suggesting that he will still be pulling the strings from behind the scenes. Appearing on the Absolute Geek podcast shortly after McMahon's announcement, Punk claimed that just because McMahon has announced his retirement publicly, that won't particularly change much. He said, "You think because he, McMahon, tweeted that I'm retired tired, that he's not going to be hands-on, and he's not going to run the show. He then revealed, "We are all hopeful of change," before suggesting that the culture over at WWE will never change. And whilst there's no evidence that most wrestlers think this way, you have to think that deep down, many of the company stars might be happy with a change. Punk then compared the treatment of Naomi and Sasha Banks recently. The pair were not happy with their contracts and storylines and made the WWE hierarchy aware of the fact. They were then suspended indefinitely. However, Punk has suggested that when Brock Lesnar split for the UFC, nobody was talking about how disappointed they were in him, which is what happened with Sasha and Naomi. He then revealed that nothing has changed since the day he left and derided the yes man and bootlickers who chastised the ladies but not Lesnar. Kind of makes sense when you look at what has recently come out regarding the treatment of women. Do you guys agree with Punk? Next up, another questionable McMahon payment. Stick around. As we know, Vince McMahon is currently embroiled in a hush money scandal, and it has this week been revealed that the former CEO actually paid somewhere in the region of $5 million to Donald Trump's charity. The payments come in 2007 and 2009, which just so happened to coincide with appearances from Trump at WWE events those same years. The Wall Street Journal reported earlier this week that McMahon donated $4 million to the Trump Foundation back in 2007, before gifting a further $1 million a couple of years later. During Trump's 2007 appearance, he actually shaved McMahon's head in the ring, and McMahon's attorney has suggested that the payments should have been registered as business expenses because ultimately they benefited the company. Apparently, this payment is one of those that are being investigated by the WWE's board and is thought to be part of the $20 million worth of payments that McMahon dished out over his career. Whether or not this particular payment is actually proof of McMahon's guilt, we're not sure at this stage. He will inevitably employ the best lawyers money can buy, which is apt, to defend himself. But it seems as though more and more stories like this are appearing all the time. Who is your favorite wrestler from WWE history? Give us your thoughts in the comments below. And finally, Chris Jericho has been reminiscing about a particular time McMahon got up his nose. Stay tuned. Former WWE star Chris Jericho, who now turns out for rivals AEW, has this week been remembering a time when he wanted to punch Vince McMahon in his stupid face. The wrestler, who had one of the greatest finishing moves of all time in the Walls of Jericho, recently appeared on the Inside of the Ropes show, where he spoke to Demogod and revealed at one time in his career he actually wanted to punch his former boss for real. Jericho claimed that McMahon insulted him during a rehearsal for WrestleMania 18, where he was set to go up against Triple H. He said, "The last couple of weeks, right before the match, I did get some serious heat on Triple H. I think I hit him in the leg with the sledgehammer and all this sort of thing. I remember one time we were rehearsing it, me hitting Triple H with a sledgehammer, and Vince would want you to rehearse as if it's real. Of course, you can't really hit someone with a sledgehammer for real, but Jericho claims that Vince would tell him to do it harder. However, he didn't particularly want to, so McMahon suggested he was on his period." Jericho went on to say he remembers thinking he could knock the toupee off his head. Hilarious. As usual, thanks for dropping in today, and remember to stop by again next time for some more fun reveals. And why not do us a solid by liking and sharing today's video, whilst also subscribing to our channel. Bye guys.